Yo guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're doing a little bit of a quicker initial impressions review on probably one of my new favorite series, Colorless. Now, I've talked about this series a little bit before in my haul for the month and also, or last month rather, and the video I did with my girlfriend. We talked about it a little bit. But yeah, Colorless is a really cool manga produced by 7 Seas, and I'll talk about all the ins and outs of that here in a minute. Like I said, this is going to be a little bit of a quicker video because it's just an initial impressions review, talking about like the basic synopsis and just my thoughts on certain elements based on what I've read in the first 15 chapters. Before we do get started though, I did want to thank you all. We did hit around 270 subscribers here, really close to 300, which is amazing. So I do ask that if you guys aren't already subscribed, please be sure to do so and leave a like on the video if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's get to 300 soon. Yeah, we're right around the corner. So anyways guys, let's get right into the review. So what exactly is Colorless about? Basically, Colorless takes place in this dystopian future where there was this massive solar flare that hit Earth and basically sucked away all of the color from the world. So everything is like black and white. It's like a noir kind of vibe. But with that, the sun also caused radiation, which started to mutate everybody. So humanity as we know it is now like these creatures. Now they haven't lost like human sentience. They're not like, you know, mutants like zombies or whatever that you would see in something like Fallout or, you know, something like that. They're not like zombies, and you know what I mean. They're actually like humans, but they just like look like aliens or whatever. But humanity still goes on. There's still like jobs and whatnot. There's people driving on the road, you know, shopkeepers. Life goes on, just everybody else, you know, looks like a monster. Though most color has left, you know, the world, there is some color left over, and it's like in this crystallized form. And what we find out is actual light and color has far more power than we ever would have thought. And so our main character, on the front of this first volume, this guy right here, he's a bit of a mysterious figure. He always wears like this armor. We've seen that his arm is like cybernetic and stuff. We don't know if he's like a robot or, you know, a cyborg. We don't know yet. There's a lot about his past that has yet to be uncovered. But his name is Dr. Avidia, and what he does is he studies how this color energy works and how it reacts with different things, and he tries to collect the last pieces of color that there are on our planet. The whole like main conflict thus far in the story, keep in mind this is only the first 2 volumes that I'm covering here, is that there's this group called the, I think it's IDOPC Order or something like that. I could be pronouncing that wrong, but they're essentially like a religious cult that worships color itself and believes like their god is like the divine chroma or the divine color or whatever, like something like that. And so, but this cult just grew to massive proportions to where they basically have every branch of the government in their pocket, and this cult essentially acts as like a shadow government, carrying out their plans all over. You know, they control everything. They control the police force, you know, the judicial branch. Like, they control everything. And our main character knows this, but what we also find out is that they're quite nefarious. Who would have thought, right? This group is trying to collect all of this different color, or the chroma or whatever, to try and resurrect their god. But I think what we really find out is that this group just wants power. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. And so our main character is trying to make sure that the Order doesn't get a hold of this power, the last remnants of color that the world has ever, seen, in the hands of the wrong people, just so that they can, continue to assume control over the world. It should be used to try and find a cure for, when I say a cure, but like rather a solution for this catastrophe. But, they don't care, and they just want, like I said, control. The story really kicks off, though, when our main character here goes to this sort of a diner that he always goes to, and the regular waitress, I guess, or I don't know what exactly her job was. I guess it was waitressing, but she goes missing. And it is suspected that when she was kidnapped, the Order was behind it, and we don't know exactly why the Order is after this chick. So our main character, not only is he just like a doctor and a scientist, but he's also sort of like a vigilante. It gives me a lot of like Batman vibes, He's like, he does like a little bit of detective work, and he's sort of like Batman. He goes on this mission to rescue her from these kidnappers. What we come to find out is that this girl is special. While everybody else is mutated and doesn't look normal to us, this has been happening probably for 100 years or more. So all of the people are used to like everybody looking like that. Like that's not even, nobody blinks an eye or bats an eye. I said blinks, bats an eye when they see somebody that looks like a monstrosity. But this girl, she was wearing a mask to make her look like that. But underneath the mask, she has the face of a human, which is like super rare. Like there is no human left that has that face, But the problem is that this girl also has amnesia, so she doesn't remember anything. We don't know why the Order is after her. Of course, we do come to find that out sort of in the second volume, but we don't exactly know the extent of that. I don't want to give too much away. I'm just giving, the basic premise that, you can read in the first volume and on the back. That's what it's about. Main character trying to stop this cult from getting power, trying to protect this girl and understand her past, and figure out why the cult was after her to begin with. And it's just really cool. The plot, I enjoy it a lot. You guys know that, like, based on my reviews of things like Cyberpunk Edgerunners and Tsutomu Nihei's Albara, that I like a good sort of dystopian cyberpunk world, and on top of, like, combining that central thing with, or central, like, I guess, genre, with sort of a noir detective kind of vibe, that is just really cool to me. Plus, like, the introduction of, like, a cult, or, like, a radical shadow government that, is a religious cult. I think that that's really cool. I have a sort of a fascination with cults and shadow governments. I just think that it's just fascinating to me. So combining, like I said, the detective stuff with cyberpunk stuff with the cults, it all just comes together, and it's just a really dope premise. And also just how they handle color in this, I find to be really interesting, because of course manga is for the most part always black and white, but in this series that actually plays into the story itself. Like, there's a reason why everything is black and white, which I think is interesting, because there are some color, there is some color in the volume. As you can see on the front here, there are parts where everything's black and white, but Avidia, he has green on him because he uses the color green as like an energy source to power parts of his armor to give him strength, but also his energy blaster. So there are moments like that where there'll be little pieces of energy that can be shown in color, which is, probably goes to, how expensive these volumes are, which I'll get into again in a minute. But yeah, those moments are really satisfying when there's those little bits of color on top of like the black and white, and it's a very poppy, and the contrast is great. I'm sort of going off topic here, but how color is handled and plays into the actual story and lore of this series, I think, again, is very well done and interesting. Not only is the premise of the story really cool, but it's matched with just fantastic artwork. I don't want to show too much of what's in the volume because I don't know what I'm allowed to show, but I will show you this cover here. And I mean, just look at those character designs. Like, that is fantastic. This is, of course, the girl with the human face. Her name is actually Chie. I don't think that I mentioned that earlier. But yeah, there is our main character there with his armor. And also, like, the noir detective trench coat thing. Yeah, he's just dope. The character designs and monster designs in this series are top notch, and the art itself does remind me of something very Nihei-esque, which is dope, you guys. I mean, I talk about Nihei quite a bit, at least as of recently, because I've been getting into his stuff. Yeah, this definitely aligns with that. It's Nihei adjacent, I suppose. Yeah, artwork's fantastic. The battle scenes are well drawn. It's gritty. And like, again, the pieces of color that we do see are very satisfying. Everything about this series is just right up my alley, and I really like it. Like a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is definitely going to be a new favorite of mine. With only 7 volumes, you know, this is probably going to be a quicker read. Yeah, I mean, this series has me wanting more and more and more. The 7th volume hasn't come out yet in Japan. We're only 3 volumes in here in English. Volume 4 comes out in April, and then Volume 5 in August, so I'm pretty sure one of these comes out like every 3 or 4 months. So yeah, we won't be seeing the end of the series in English until sometime next year. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait to read this, and like I said, it's short. It's not a huge commitment, though the initial cost of the volume is a bit higher than your standard $10 Shonen Jump Viz volume. The price that you pay for these volumes is definitely made up for in quality, in my opinion. I'm not too familiar with 7 Seas as a publisher. I only have 2 series by them, and that is, of course, Colorless and Die Dark, which I'm actually in the middle of reading. That's a upcoming 3-volume rule series. But I can just say that, I mean, 7 Seas has got to be a new favorite publisher of mine. They have some really cool titles, but volumes like this and Die Dark that are produced in a similar fashion, you know, for the higher price point being around $13 to $15, they're just immaculate. High quality, just snow white paper that's quite thick. The volume has really nice, like, matte feel to it with the glossy cover. The art, again, is fantastic. The blacks are very black and the whites are very whites. Just the contrasts work very well, again, with the pops of color, which we see throughout parts of the series, which I guess, you know, the colored ink definitely does apply to the price of the volume. So sitting around $15 per volume, I will say it's a little steep, not gonna lie, $15, but the quality definitely makes up for it. So yeah, guys, that is sort of my thoughts on Colorless so far, 2 volumes in. I'm loving it, you know. Like I said, probably a new favorite of mine. I don't know where it stands necessarily, like, in rankings, but, I mean, if it keeps going the way it's going and more is revealed and more action and stuff like that, I don't know. It's just going to end up being a really awesome series that I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on right now. I remember when it first came out, there was a little bit of buzz because of how unique it is, with, again, the plot and how it handles color. But I haven't really heard many people talk about it. just as a whole. So I think that more people should definitely hop on this, and someday it might get an anime adaptation, which I think would just be awesome to have a noir anime with, again, the pieces of color. I think that could work really well, and it just be one of the most unique anime ever produced if there were to be an anime adaptation of this manga. Yeah, it would work really well. Volume 3 for me is coming. It's on its way. It came out last month in December, so yeah, it'll be in this haul at the end of the month, hopefully. So gonna be reading that. Yeah, and I hope you guys pick up this series and read it and give me your thoughts, or if you've already read it, give me your thoughts in the comments or in my Discord, which the link will be in the description for that. I hope you guys did enjoy. As always, if you guys did enjoy, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.